Welcome to Dark Knight Films Reviews and another horror movie night. Tonight, I will be reviewing Night of the Living Dead, released in 1990. Directed by Tom Savini, from a script by George A. Romero, starring Tony Todd, Patricia Tallman, Tom Towles, McKee Anderson, William Butler, Katie Finneran, Bill Moseley, and Heather Mazur. Now, when this movie came out in 1990, knowing how great of an effects artist Tom Savini is, and knowing that he's already done effects in both Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead, I knew to expect some really gnarly, badass-looking zombies in this film. But as far as a director, the only direction I had ever seen him doing before this was, I believe, some episodes of Tales from the Dark Side. And I thought he did pretty good on a couple of those episodes, so I was optimistic of how this was going to turn out. I was happy with some of it. Now, moments of this are a bit too on the nose, in my opinion, and too much the same as the original film. Pretty much the opening with Bill Moseley and Patricia Tallman in the cemetery is note for note, line for line, basically the exact same scene. I didn't think that was necessary. I think they could have done their own dialogue, their own lines for that. But I like later on how Patricia Tallman's Barbara actually does evolve into a completely different character than what we saw in the original film. Tony Todd, when he shows up as Ben, is equally as badass as Dwayne Jones was in the role. And Tom Towles as Harry is equally as grating on your nerves as that character. I mean, he really does get under your skin. I wish that with William Butler's Tom and Katie Finneran's Judy, that they had been given something different. This was another one that was a bit too on the nose. It felt too much like the exact same thing that we'd already seen in the real Night of the Living Dead film with those two characters. I don't think that Tom and George A. Romero, who wrote this, did enough different with that. Even their death in this film is exactly the same as it was in the original film, which is unfortunate because I think with William Butler as Tom, he could have been a really interesting character. I like him as an actor, and I thought he was doing really well with the role, but they did not do any favors for him in making him the exact same character that he was in the original movie, in my opinion. Now, my major issue with this film is the finale. Now, as I said, I love what they did with Patricia Tallman's Barbara. No issues with that at all. No issues with her becoming this strong, badass character as opposed to the completely useless character that Barbara was in the original film. That was a plus. That was an improvement greatly. But the moments near the end of the film in which Ben and Harry get into this test of wills that they did in the original film, and it pretty much goes down pretty much the same way in a way. But instead of Harry getting shot and falling down into the basement, and then Ben going down there with him and locking himself in there, and him basically having to deal with the zombie version of Harry and Helen, they have him lock himself up down there after getting shot, and Harry locks himself up in the attic. And it's cool that one was wanting the basement to begin with Harry, and Ben was wanting the attic. And it turns out they flipped it. And that was fine. But then you get the moment where you get the officials coming in there, police and everything, and posse coming in, and Harry survives, comes out of the attic, and then you get Ben coming out of the basement as a zombie. And I hated that moment. I really hated that they did that with Tony Todd's Ben in this. Because I think he deserved a lot better than that, to do his character that way. I mean, it's bad enough that the character played by Dwayne Jones in the original film was killed the way he was. But in this one, he is literally turned into what he's been fighting against. Not shot out of accident because they thought he was a zombie. He literally becomes a zombie in this film, and it sucks. I always hated that ending. And the fact that Harry, basically kind of outlives him. Of course, I like the fact that Barbara ends up killing his ass because of what he caused, the problems that he caused, but not with the sacrifice of having Ben become a zombie. That was horrible, in my opinion. Overall, the rest of the movie is very well done. Like I said, it's just a bit too on the nose in certain spots to where it's too much like the original, where they're not trying to do enough that's different in it. So my final review of Night of the Living Dead from 1990, I am going to give this film a 8.6 out of 10. I really do like this film, and I think it's equally as good as the original film. But I think Tom Savini got shortchanged in the writing from George Romero. I think he could have done quite a bit different with it and still had the same structure in it. And don't kill Ben that way. Don't make him become a zombie and then die. But what do you guys think of Night of the Living Dead from 1990? Do you agree with my review? Do you disagree? Let me know in those comments down below. And as usual, if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to click that bell icon so you can be notified about future videos just like this one. And while you're by the subscribe button, click that join button and become a Dark Knight fan. As a Dark Knight Fan Plus member, you have access to an area on the channel right now where you can submit a film, TV series, or a ranking video of your choosing. And when I do that video on the channel, it will go for all Plus members to view prior to it becoming a live video for everyone else. So if you want to get interactive, now is a good time. Well, that's it for another horror movie night. If you missed last week's horror movie night video, you can check it out in the link above. Or if you have missed any of our videos on horror movie night, check out this playlist and you can check out anything that you've missed.